welcome back to the show. It's your boy, the one and only, the kid, the nonprofit sector connector, Tommy D. The name of the show is Long Island ChangeMakers, and that's who I get to meet with every week here on the show. People doing important work. Sometimes they run nonprofits, sometimes they run businesses, sometimes they do both. And that's really what we have here today with my friend Kristine Fitzpatrick, League of Yes, Shine a Light Candles. Let's get into it. What's going on? How are you, my friend?
I am awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
I'm excited to have you here. This is so cool. I was like smelling all these candles. I don't know. The blue spruce, I'm digging it, but the one that I really liked was this one here. What is it? No, the coffee one.
That's the coffee one.
The coffee one.
It's coffee.
So like,
it's coffee scented.
So like, I'm just saying, like, you brought all these candles, but this one's going.
That's fine.
I'll put it
actually, I was going to give them all to you.
Well, that's
but
a lot.
No, I'm just going to take them all back. And
but why is that? Because I just, see, that was a trick.
Yeah, that was.
All right, I don't like tricks.
And you failed.
Yeah. I love it. That's what's fun about this show. Like, I started to tell people, like, it'd be really cool if you like brought me a gift. And I didn't even say that to you, but you did. But like a couple weeks ago, I got a bunch of T-shirts. My friend Mike D'Onofrio from Premier Payroll, he brought me like a Yeti with like the logo on it, so that was really cool. Yeah,
I gave you a T-shirt already.
Nice T-shirt. Talk about my T-shirt.
Yeah.
Check it out. What does it say?
Yeah. What good have I done today?
I love that, and I think that's important. That's a great place to start.
Yeah.
This T-shirt, League of Yes. We met because we have a family foundation in memory of my cousin Linda called the Lindy Lou Foundation. Yeah. And one year, a bunch of years ago, I had the opportunity and the honor really to go out and hand out the checks.
Yeah.
And we met at a Starbucks.
We did.
You remember that Starbucks? You know
in Hicksville.
Yeah, exactly. Right by not Trader Joe's, Whole Foods.
Whole Foods. Yep.
Yeah. And the League of Yes is completely on brand with what Lindy Lou is all about. All the money we raise through the Lindy Lou Foundation. And actually this year, March 16th, coming up in 25, my cousin's birthday was March 16th. This is the first year the Lindy Lou Classic, which is a big bowling event, will be on Linda's birthday. So we have to have you there. We have to. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's important, and we got to work on getting some more money over to your organization from Lindy Lou. So we got to talk about that.
Yeah,
so,
it's just so funny that we met so many years ago, and your foundation, your family's foundation, was one of the first people that ever supported us because we're a grassroots organization. I'm kind of a one-woman show. I do have some support and stuff, but administratively and all that other stuff, I'm a one-woman show. So I don't have time to be writing grants and trying to find kids in the program, volunteers for the program, just the whole entire thing. So so meeting you all those years ago, and we so proudly put your beautiful banner behind home plate, and that was amazing. But to circle back now, and business-wise and friendship and stuff, it's like you're my little kid brother.
Oh, that's so nice of you to say. Like, you punch me. To be anybody's kid brother is nice because people say like I look like an old man with my wife.
Yeah, well, I'm an old woman. So good.
Somebody told me just today, recently, that they think I paint my hair white. Like
I heard that.
Like I would do this.
I heard that.
Like I would do it on purpose.
Like I would do this
in
the studio.
Why would I do this on purpose? Like my hair's white, man. So it's funny like when you have children like I do and they call you an old man and I'm like, dude, I'm Tommy D. And they're like, yeah, Tommy D's gonna be 50 in a couple of years. Like that's a weird thing to say. When we met, I know you have a background in sales, and as it relates to parks and turf and different things like that.
Right.
So
at that time.
At that time. So tell me about that, like, because that's part of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like when the League of Yes was founded, or what?
The whole reason for the program, because I was working for a company. I was a sales manager, and I was selling all-purpose synthetic turf fields, and my territory was up in Westchester. And somebody in my office was asked to be on the board, and they couldn't do it, so I raised my hand because I wanted to network, right? It's what we do with salespeople, network, and I wanted to get closer with the Commissioner of Parks up there so that I can get my products spec'd in, so when it went out for bid, they would be looking at, I would get a first look. Sorry, let me take that back. Wouldn't get a first look on a bid, so just want to make that clear out to the people there. It's a sealed bid, but that maybe my product can be spec'd in.
Okay.
So, yeah, very long story short, it was a boy named Julian that changed my life. And
Go back for 1 second though. There was an organization you got asked to be on the board of an organization.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I left
That's
that
okay.
important piece there. Called the Miracle League. The Miracle League of Westchester, and they were the first organization to. The Miracle League is a larger organization. So New York, that was their first field that came in to Westchester, and I don't know if there's any more Miracle League fields in New York. But anyway, the point was I was asked to be on there, and so the Miracle League is a field that is like a poured product, poured rubberized surfacing, so it's easier for wheelchairs to get around. And it's for children and young adults or adults with any disability to play baseball.
Okay.
And I was a big softball player growing up, so for me it was an easy, ask. I'm like, sure, I'll be on this board. I'll help you raise money.
Sure.
I had no idea that my whole entire world was about to change because I volunteered for this program.
Do you have children who have special needs or disabilities? You don't. Okay. So this was an exposure point for you to learn about different abilities and things like that.
Yeah.
So who was Julian?
So I joke and say that my book is going to be called A Boy Named Julian. So it was the first play of the game, and I'm at home plate, and this woman rolls up with this boy Julian, and his volunteer comes over. She was his aide, and he has cerebral palsy, nonverbal, and she's explaining all this to me. I have no background in special needs, so I'm really don't understand, but I'm kind of like going, okay. And she said, well, he can't speak. He doesn't have facial expressions. But if you ask him a question, he had an index card that said yes and one that said no. And so he could answer you by looking at the index card. So I was like, all right, that's cool. So his little volunteer came up and he took the bat and he hit it off the tee, and he got behind Julian's wheelchair and he ran up and he went as fast as he could around first, second, and third. And I'm at home plate. I'm trying so hard not to get choked up because I'll start crying.
So what, man? Cry.
I know, but I do it all the time. But anyway,
so you're at
I'm at home plate, and this boy now is coming towards me, and I witnessed the most amazing smile I've ever seen on a person's face before. And I looked over at this aide and I said to her, don't tell me that this boy doesn't have emotions and he doesn't have facial expression. He just wasn't happy.
Right.
And as I was driving home with my two kids, who were both miracles as well, of how they came to me, and they're healthy. And as I'm driving home, I literally was like really upset that, could you imagine going through your whole entire life being basically like a shell and not being happy? That child was not happy, but that run around the bases in a wheelchair made him completely through. That simple act.
How old were your kids when this was going on?
Oh boy, 4, and I laugh because my little 4-year-old just was all over the place, and my son, who just turned 30 yesterday, 8 years old.
So they were 4 and 8.
4 and 8.
Did the younger guy get it? Did the older guy get what was going on?
The younger guy didn't get it because he was a fiery redhead, and he was all over the place. But my oldest son, I'll never forget, one day we left, and I couldn't find him, and he turned out he was in my car. And I go into the car, I'm like, what are you doing in here? And he was sobbing in the back seat of the car. I'm like, are you okay? And he looks up. Oh God, I get so emotional. He looks up at me and he goes, I didn't get a kid today, Mom. And he was like so hurt.
Because he didn't get to participate and volunteer?
So much. Right. There were so many other volunteers that were there that day. So he didn't get a chance to work one-to-one with one of the kids, and he was really upset. But the cool thing, right, about my fiery redhead that was running around all over the place, you fast forward now, he was an Eagle Scout. Mm-hmm. He's currently a sergeant in the Army in Fort Meade in Maryland. He's a firefighter, EMT. I mean, he's got empathy coming out all over him. And my oldest son, too, that's full of so much empathy. So it's kind of cool to see how many years later that this had an effect on them as well.
Do you think if it wasn't for that experience, and obviously we're going to talk about League of Yes, if it wasn't for them being exposed to that, that they would have had an awareness and would have had that empathy?
I can't answer that, right? Because
Right.
we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know, but I will tell you that it was my purpose, because I was a single mom and I wanted to be able to show my kids a bunch of things. And one is that you can do something and you can make an impact that you don't have to have money. You can be a philanthropist because you can be a philanthropist with your time.
I love it. I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
Time, treasure, talent.
Change the world.
Right, like
if
that's
you don't have
it,
any
man.
money, you can figure it out.
100%.
You know?
That's so important for people who want to be involved with nonprofit organizations, who want to be involved in philanthropy, but say, oh, but I don't have the means, right?
I
But
still don't have the means.
Fair enough. Yeah, I hear that. I guess so again, you can't really tell how the boys would have turned, right? Your children would have turned out with that, but without being exposed to it. So when does the League of Yes become an actual thing that you create, and how did that all happen?
So that all happened because I didn't like up in Westchester. I'm the type of person we're a lot alike, and that's why we get along very well. I don't do well with status quo. Like, I can't, me getting to a goal is like, yeah, okay, next, and I did not see them growing. They were just staying, and I think they still are, just exactly what that was 16 years ago. So for me, I've got to just keep moving. And I was like, why don't we have this program on Long Island? I don't understand it. So because I was in the turf industry, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to raise the money. I'm going to get $1 million, and I'm going to build the first real synthetic turf handicap accessible field. I don't know who I think I was. So I had to
but you're being bold, man. That's what it is.
Totally, because I fell in love with all of these kids, and it seriously changed my whole entire world of even what I did for a living. And so I was going to go back to school. Went to St. John's. That's where I graduated from. But I was going to go back. I was going to learn about nonprofits. I was going to learn about how to run a nonprofit, how to run an actual league. I was a big softball player growing up. So I could handle that technical part of it. So I went to town of Brookhaven because I knew Eddie Morris through business. He was the Parks Commissioner and still is. And so I did this beautiful PowerPoint presentation, and I was like, so what do you think? You want to earmark me $250,000 for next year? So after he got done belly laughing at me, I didn't take offense to it, whatever.
What a friend.
But you got to ask,
Shout out
right? You're a
Eddie Morris.
salesperson. You have to
100%.
ask. And he said to me, he goes, Kristine, I'm going to do something better for you. And he's like, come take a ride with me. And he drove me up to a field in Bold Hill and Farmingville. And it was a handicap accessible field that gets used maybe once a year. It had ADA compliant dugouts, bathrooms. I mean, it was perfect. And he turned around and said to me, this is yours. He gave me some money, and he said, don't let me down. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
beep,
yeah.
can't say the word.
Yeah, now I actually have to do the thing, right?
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what, I literally don't know what I'm doing. But another part of me of like being an athlete is I'm super competitive, and I love to figure things out. So I grabbed a couple of my girlfriends that are, professional women and have worked corporate, and as well as I was at the time. And we just got together. I said, let's just do it. Let's just throw it against the wall. Let's figure it out. We'll do our own little pilot program. And then, we'll take the winter and we will just remold it, refix it, do whatever it is, come back out in the spring, and then we'll have a full season. We barely had, maybe 20 kids show up for the 6 weeks, not even 30 volunteers show up for those 6 weeks. And, you fast forward now.
How many volunteers do you have now?
Oh, God, we've had over 10,000 volunteers.
10,000 people.
10,000 volunteers.
Goes back to time, treasure, talent, right?
Yeah.
Listen, you might have friends that can write a nice check, a big check, a little check, right? But anybody can get out there. And really, anybody with different abilities can get out there and volunteer in different levels too, right?
And that was such a big part of the volunteering, right? So for me at that time, I wanted the people that did it up in Westchester, they're like, you get one kid and he's got to commit for 12 weeks. I'm like, it's never going to happen. They had a really hard time getting volunteers. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you want to get a different kid every single week? Like, bring them in and teach them that compassion, that empathy. You have somebody that's a typical child and work with a child with special needs. It's breaking barriers for bullying. It really is, because they have such a sense when they walk out, and it's a game changer. So volunteering, I'm such a fan because volunteering changed my life.
Right. That's how you got involved.
I did not have this on my vision board. I'm just going to tell you, I did not have League of Yes on my vision board. I did not have candles on my vision board. This was not my plan. But when you get the call and the good Lord is, calling, you better pick that phone up. And I did, and I'm honored and I'm blessed to be on this journey. Has not been easy. Running a nonprofit, as you know.
Yeah.
It is not for the faint at heart, and especially starting a grassroots. Typically, grassroots programs, nonprofits don't last more than three to 5 years.
And how many years has it been?
So we just finished our 13th year.
Unbelievable! Congrats!
Awesome.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
I have this really cool opportunity in life that I get to talk to people like you who are running organizations. So, I make a comment as it relates to our business, Vanguard Benefits, our employee benefits business. And we made a decision to work inside the nonprofit sector and really relate to the sector. And I don't think my partners or I realized what that meant at the time. And certainly wasn't on my vision board to start calling myself the nonprofit sector connector.
No?
But it wasn't. I mean, not years ago. It has been the last 5 years. But I came up with this whole opportunity, and I really believe it's an honor because I get to spend this time. Now, we could have decided, me, our team at Vanguard, and said we want to work with hedge funds or we want to work with people in private equity. We didn't. We said we wanted to work with this sector. And now I know, I was joking with somebody this morning. We did an episode of Philanthropy in Focus. And I was saying, I'm going to do 5,000 episodes of this show. And this February will be the 200th episode. So my friend who was my guest on the show this morning said, well, how soon do you want to do that? I go, it's probably going to take me about 20 years, but I go, because I don't know how to do 5,000 episodes in less than that. But the point of the matter is, that's an opportunity I get to do every week. I do that show, just like we're doing here. I get to meet with another leader of a nonprofit. Yeah. So to your point, it's not for the faint of heart, right? But at the same time, what's better than what you get to do, right?
100%.
So important, 100%. So important. Some of these individuals are at a point where they're quote unquote aging out, right? So we're talking about different things. We're talking about a lot of what we talk about, whether it be, we had a couple of weeks ago, we had Tigerman in here, a special needs organization here on Long Island. Obviously, I'm on the board of Horseability, I'm on the board of Spirit of Huntington Arts Center, all organizations that are in this work, right? Yeah. Yep. And vocation is critically important. It's critically important for our population. We know that our population of individuals with intellectual developmental disabilities is, I've heard 80, 85, 90%, which is, to me, first of all, it's a tragedy. Second of all, it's an access situation as far as I'm concerned. It's not an ability situation. It's getting people access to vocation and jobs and job training. Other than this candle smelling absolutely incredible. I love this one, this coffee one. Yeah. But so do I really have to only take this one, or do I get them all?
No, I'm going to give them.
You're the best.
Except this one, I need this.
You got to keep that one. What's that one called? What smell is that?
So this is Sharp Dressed Man.
I knew you were going to say that.
Let me
get a hit of this one.
It smells so good.
It does smell.
They all smell so good, but that one's like a cologne-y.
Yeah.
I joke around and I tell everybody.
But look at this one. This has like the sand and the water.
Yeah, that's a specialty item that I'm doing for some stores out east.
Yeah.
Obviously, anybody can order them if they want, but that's not something you would see on my website.
So what exactly happened here?
So what happened? Because I don't have enough things to do.
Yeah.
I decided to start a candle company.
Really? What's that like?
No, in complete honesty, so many of my players are aging out. So we just finished our 13th year. If you take even one of our kids that started at 10, they're now 23. And we have a lot of players. We have a very high retention rate. With our athletes that started at a young age, that are still with us, that played on our regular program and then now are in our skills program. In our skills program, they are learning the actual game, and they are playing without volunteers. They are just complete, and they are amazing. So, but the problem, that's coming up a lot with the parents is that their kids are finding a hard time to become employed. And I've got to be honest with you, so many of these young adults are so phenomenally talented.
Yes.
And they're such hard workers, and they're so driven, and they're so proud, and they're hard workers. They just may have social cues that are not, obviously on point with some people. Their learning may be different. I just worked with somebody the other day. We were at a holiday party, and we were selling candles, and I was like, hey, I need for you to, and all of a sudden, they just froze, and I was like, oh, right, okay, I have to back it away from my crazy 110 miles an hour, explain it a little bit differently, take my time. He understood the process, and then he moved on, and he was able to do that. When you're working, whether it's manufacturing, especially with candles or something, it's all about productivity and getting stuff out and quickly and stuff. And they may not be able to do that in a environment where somebody is on top of you needing to get stuff out right away. So I honestly prayed about it and really wanted to know where my next direction was going to be. And I woke up one morning with candles on my heart, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing candles. So there's no plan B for me. I'm all in. And so I did a ton of research well over a year. There's a lot to know about candles.
Is there really?
Idea.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. When my wife and I were younger, she used to get candles like all the time. And it was like cool because it was easy to buy gifts for her because she wanted candles. But like, she would buy so many candles that like sometimes the credit cards were a little crazy on candles. But candles, it's not just, they're not all the same. No. Like you talk about research, you talk about it's not just like, hey, let's get some wax, right? By the way, this is popcorn, right? Do you want some popcorn?
And that's a different wax, so it is.
And it smells good too.
It does, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny because I will be getting into doing fun projects like this. I'm partnering with the Nicholas Center for Autism in Port Washington. So I will be doing candle classes. That will be for fun, but that's not the business part of it. But that's an actual different wax than the wax that's in here. This is a very hard wax. It's a 100% soy heavy hard wax. And then the wax that's in the candles is a soy blend.
It's different than like mafia movies where you don't want to get whacked. That's different. Right. That's a different kind of wax. Yeah. All right.
That's
good.
whack.
Whacked.
Not wax.
Careful you don't get whacked.
Wax on, wax off.
That's Mr. Miyagi.
That's where you're going with
maybe. How do you learn?
So I learned through, believe it or not, a ton of YouTube.
I love YouTube.
I do
I love YouTube.
You want to learn.
But the thing about you can learn anything.
Oh,
like the other day I was trying to fix a gate, and I don't really fix gates. That's not exactly a Tommy D thing. YouTubed it, man. You know what? Some problem with the toilet, I YouTube it, So and then when I get to a point, then I can't do it, then I call a plumber. But you go as far as you can.
You can do anything
100%.
with YouTube. So there were 3 people that I followed. One main guy from Black Barn Candles.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll mess his name up. He'll never see this anyway, so that's all right. Anyway,
maybe he will. I'm a big deal. What are you talking about? Shout out to Black Barn Candle or Black Bart, and shout out to everybody.
His name is Wade.
Him too. Hey, Wade.
Son's name is Wade.
This is fun. We should just do this every week.
I know.
Bring more candles.
All the time. I think we were getting a little buzz smelling them earlier.
Let me get some more coffee.
But anyway, I learned my first 100 candles that I made, I had to throw out.
Okay.
I didn't understand the wicks. There's over 1,000 wicks to choose from, and the wicks you have to figure out whether the fragrance oil percentage, if there's dye involved, what the wax is. They all perform differently. This wick would not work with this type of wax, and so my sister was one of my testers, and I gave her a candle, and I said, she took a picture of it, and she texted to me, and she's like, oh my God, this candle smells amazing. My house smells so great. This is awesome. And I zoomed in, and I was like, dude, what's with the flame? She's like, oh yeah, my house is going to go on fire, but it smells great.
That's good. Hey, but listen.
What?
If it smells good.
Yeah, but I had to turn around and throw them all out.
That's a bummer. But
it was overwicked with the wax. So.
That's a lot. It was overwicked with the wax. But here's the thing. What?
Wiki.
Like You're trouble for me. You know I can barely pay attention as it is.
I know. I'm like ADD. I'm going all over.
Let me tell you a funny story. One time I'm on.
See, where we
here
go.
Here we go. That's the story. I'm on a Zoom call, right? I'm on the call. I'm actually in my dining room, not up in the attic where I operate from, but I'm at the dining room table. I was on a Zoom call like this, and literally a squirrel ran across the yard, and I looked away to see what he was doing because there's chipmunks out there too, and I like the chipmunks. So I come back to the Zoom call like seconds later. I go, oh my God, what was that? What'd you say? And they go, you're right? I go, I literally got distracted by a squirrel running across my yard. So like, it's not even a joke. That's like a real thing. Like it's, so I don't even know what we're talking about. Why is this important though, from a perspective of getting training, job training, vocation for individuals?
It is super important. So let's get to the mission,
Please.
Right? So it's shine a light on disabilities. So the whole mission for these candles is for this to become an actual business, a social enterprise, to where we are teaching vocational right now at the Nicholas Center. They are learning how to make candles from start to finish. They take it, they wick them, they put the warning labels on it, they label them themselves.
I've been there. I was actually there when we were out at your office.
Yeah, they pour the wax, 200-degree wax. They're stirring. I'm teaching them even taking temperatures and stuff like that. So the mission is for us to become a profitable company that we can then
What do you need?
Hire.
So what do you need to do
sales.
that? You need sales.
At this moment, I need sales. And what we're really looking to do is get into the fundraising industry where if there's any organizations out there that are looking to raise money at their schools, whether it's a club, cheer team that needs to go to Florida and they have to raise $1,000, come to us and you can purchase our candles. That's really the segment I'd personally like to get into, because although it's not a higher margin of profit, what it is what it is.
I know that song. Don't sing that song.
No,
That's a
I'm not
bad
going
song.
to. But what I would like for it to be is it will be consistent work for our community of people that they can learn. We're not a onesie twosie. I brought out all this stuff just for props, for the fun of it, and like we will be doing classes, but this will not be our focus. Our focus is high-end candles. I wanted to make sure when we started this candle company that we have two strikes against us right off the bat. One is that when you hear the word disability, not us, because we understand, but the average person, they're like, oh God, it's not going to be a nice candle. Secondly, it's a candle. So people think, oh, it's just a fundraiser. No, it's a business.
Right.
This is a business.
So that to me is just an area of opportunity. That means we need to tell the story. And that's what it is. It's getting out there, doing things. Maybe once a month you come here and we talk about candles. Like see, here's the thing. Like we joked when I was talking to you on the phone this afternoon. I only come up with an idea every couple minutes. Yeah. Maybe, and sometimes in 1 minute it's 4 different ideas, which is I texted you something.
Which I get the call. Wait, I get the text and then all of a sudden I get the call. Like, you didn't even let me respond.
Well, that's literally happened today because I don't have time for that. Like I don't know why I sent the text to begin with because I wasn't going to wait. So, but like I texted you something. Were you an athlete? I don't remember why I texted you that. Yeah. But I should have written it down. But the thing is, there's a lot of ideas, a lot of things popping. We're running out of time, so we're gonna have to have you come back. What do you need? Like punch it up. What do you want? You say fundraisers. So who do you want to connect with?
I'm looking at any school district, any PTA that are looking to do fundraisers. They used to do wrapping paper back in the day, and I would love that opportunity for the can. We are looking for corporate sales. I just did 80 of these size candles for a chiropractor that gave to his customers.
I want to get these out. I want people when they come to this show to leave with a candle.
I would love to make those for you. That'd be great.
Yeah, let's make that happen. Yeah. So if they want to, there's mistletoe?
Yeah.
Under the mistletoe. What's the...
No singing.
No, but I always sing. Okay. So I didn't want you to sing what it is. That song was a bad song. You can't even shush me on my show.
So sorry.
You can't shush me. It's my show. We're running out of time. Okay. How do they get in touch with you?
ShineTheLightCandles.com.
ShineTheLightCandles.com
is my website. My Shopify is ShineTheLight.shop. So either one, if you go to League of Yes, because we didn't mention too that once we are a profitable company, League of Yes will also benefit for part of the proceeds.
Social enterprise, baby. I love it.
Social enterprise all day long, having one feeding into the other.
You're no big deal, just changing the world, and I love that. No big deal, just changing the world, because that's tongue in cheek. Because you are a huge deal. You're making the world a better place. I love that you're my friend. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here on
Love it.
ChangeMakers.
Thank you.
Gang, I appreciate you all for checking in. Here's what it is. We talk about it all the time. Long Island ChangeMakers, people on the front lines doing the important work. Guess what? This is another In Focus production. Make it a great day. I'll see you guys next week. Later.